Good afternoon, बच्चा लोग. Good afternoon, class 12th. Good afternoon, class 12th. We will be starting with the new lecture today, new chapter today, that is chemical kinetics. Electrochemistry, we have finished all the important point of view, all the important formula, all the important concepts from exam point of view, we have finished them. One small topic, that is corrosion, is still left, but that is very simple and very basic. You can all read about corrosion from NCERT on your own. So let's not waste more time and continue with the syllabus since we are well into October right now. We will be starting with chemical kinetics in a couple of more minutes. Let all of your friends connect. All right. All right, class 12, let's start. We will be starting with chemical kinetics. Chemical kinetics basically deals with the speed of your reaction. Chemical kinetics हमें क्या बताता है? Reaction की speed क्या है या कह लीजिए reaction का rate क्या है? Rate of reaction. Class 12, I hope I am clearly audible and clearly visible. If there is any problem with the audio or video, please simply drop a message in the chat box and I will get it rectified. तो chemical kinetics basically, good afternoon Chikaldhara, how are you? Good afternoon बच्चा लोग. तो chemical kinetics basically क्या बात करता है कि आपके रिएक्शन की स्पीड क्या है या रिएक्शन की रेट क्या है. मान लीजिए एक रिएक्शन में ये आपके रिएक्टेंट हैं और ये कन्वर्ट हो रहे हैं प्रोडक्ट में. इस रिएक्टेंट की C कॉन्सेंट्रेशन है और प्रोडक्ट अभी कुछ बना नहीं एट टाइम T इज इक्वल टू 0. एट टाइम T इज इक्वल टू T, अगर मुझे ये मेजर करना है कि मेरा कितना प्रोडक्ट बन चुका है, कितना रिएक्टेंट कंज्यूम हो चुका है, that will all depend on my rate of reaction, and this rate of reaction is determined by the studies of chemical kinetics. अगर suppose करिए I have a reactant which is getting converted into product at time T is equal to 0, if the concentration of the reactant is C moles and the product is not yet formed, then what will be the concentration of product formed or how much will be the reactant left after time T will be determined by rate of reaction. Meaning rate of reaction can be audible, all right. Meaning rate of reaction can be defined as one small thing. Rate of reaction can be written as change in concentration और चेंज इन प्रेशर. देखो भाई, आप रिएक्टेंट दो तरह से डील करते हैं. बेटा, आई विल राइट वंस अगेन. आप रिएक्शन में दो तरह की स्पीशीज से डील करते हैं. वन इज एक्वस स्पीशीज या लिक्विड स्पीशीज. इनके लिए हम बात किसमें करते हैं? इन टर्म्स ऑफ कॉन्सेंट्रेशन. देन यू हैव गैसियस स्पीशीज, जिनकी बात हम किसमें करते हैं? इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रेशर. तो रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन बहुत सिंपल टर्म्स में क्या कहलाया जाएगा? रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन इज द चेंज इन कॉन्सेंट्रेशन और प्रेशर, whether you are dealing in concentration or pressure of reactant as well as product. मतलब आप रेट को दोनों ही टर्म्स में निकाल सकते हैं, इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिएक्टेंट ऑल्सो एज वेल एज इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोडक्ट ऑल्सो. कितना रिएक्टेंट कंज्यूम हो चुका, कितना प्रोडक्ट बन चुका, how much amount of reactant is consumed and how much amount of product is obtained. Both of them will help you determine the overall rate of reaction. This divided by time. Change in concentration of reactant or product or change in pressure of reactant or product per unit time is defined as rate of reaction. और इसी rate of reaction को हम किस में पढ़ते हैं, किस में निकालते हैं? In the chapter chemical kinetics. I hope यहाँ तक clear है. I hope यहाँ तक there are no problems in understanding why we are studying chemical kinetics. हर एक रिएक्शन के possible होने के, हर एक रिएक्शन के feasible होने के दो मेट्रिक होते हैं. एक मेट्रिक देखिए क्लास 12, पहला मेट्रिक किसी भी रिएक्शन को अगर मुझे ये डिटरमाइन करना हो कि वो चलेगी या नहीं चलेगी, it is judged on two parameters. First is thermodynamic parameter and second is kinetic parameter. कोई भी केमिकल रिएक्शन दो तरीके के क्राइटेरिया पे जस्टिफाई होती है. पहला, उसके अंदर हीट एक्सचेंज कितना हो रहा है, उसके अंदर हीट कितनी लग रही है और हीट कितनी इवॉल्व हो रही है, हीट का कितना मेट्रिक है और वो रिएक्शन में बनने वाले रिएक्टेंट या प्रोडक्ट कितने स्टेबल हैं. Once again, first parameter is the thermodynamic parameter, which tells us how much heat is exchanged in the reaction, how much reactant is consuming heat, how much product is giving out heat, and what is the overall stability of the reactant as well as product. That is judged in thermodynamics. और thermodynamics हम किस में पढ़ते हैं? We study thermodynamics in class 11. Second metric of the reaction to be feasible is the speed of the reaction, the rate of the reaction. और ये हम किस में जानने वाले हैं? This we will study in your class 12. कि आपने अगर मान लीजिए कोई रिएक्शन चलाई है, then how much is the rate of the reaction being affected by certain physical parameters? What is the overall rate of the reaction? All of that will be studied under chemical kinetics in class 12. अब हमने बात शुरू करी है रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन की, तो ये रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन जो है, इट इज प्राइमरीली ऑफ टू टाइप्स. दिस रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन is primarily of two types. First is your average rate of reaction, and the second is instantaneous rate of reaction. Instantaneous rate. बेटा अगर किसी को handwriting में issue हो, please बोल देना. I will write more neatly. All right. If anybody has any issue with the handwriting, please let me know. I will write more neatly for your understanding. So rate of reaction is majorly of two types: average rate of reaction and instantaneous rate of reaction. Average rate of reaction क्या होता है? पहले मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. Then I will give you pointers to note down. Don't worry. So average rate of reaction refers to the rate of reaction for a longer period of time, for an overall chemical reaction, for the chemical reaction from starting to ending. Again, average rate of reaction क्या हो रहा है? Average rate of reaction का मतलब किसी लंबे इंटरवल के लिए नापे जाने वाला rate of reaction throughout a long, किसी ज्यादा चेंज ऑफ कॉन्सेंट्रेशन पे नापे जाने वाला रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन, या रिएक्शन के स्टार्टिंग से लेकर अंत तक कितना टाइम लगा, कितना रिएक्टेंट कंज्यूम हुआ, ये सारा का सारा कौन बताएगा? एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन बताएगा. इस एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन को हम डेल्टा से रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. डेल्टा मींस a bigger change or overall change in the time or concentration or pressure, whatever. Similarly, instantaneous rate of reaction क्या है? तो instantaneous rate of reaction नाम ही बता रहा है किसी particular instance पे रिएक्शन चल रही है, उसके एक पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंस पे रिएक्शन का रेट कितना अफेक्ट चल रहा है, किस तरह से बढ़ रही है रिएक्शन, और आगे जाके रेट क्या होने वाला है, दैट विल बी डिटरमिन्ड बाय instantaneous rate of reaction. Once again, instantaneous rate of reaction tells us the rate of reaction at any particular instance. Reaction के throughout the reaction at any particular concentration of reactant, what is the rate corresponding to it is given by instantaneous rate of reaction, and this is referred with the sign D. That is your differential, right? That is your differential amount. आइए बात करते हैं व्हाट इज एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. आइए बात कर लेते हैं व्हाट इज एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. when the rate of reaction, ROR क्या है? rate of reaction is measured over a considerable period of time. कंसिडरेबल पीरियड ऑफ टाइम का क्या मतलब हुआ? ओवर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, एक प्रॉपर टाइम पीरियड में रेट कितना अफेक्ट हो रहा है, अगर आप वैसे निकालते हैं देन दैट इज नोन एज एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. इसको आप रिप्रेजेंट किससे करते हैं? R bar. This is represented by R bar. R bar is equal to delta, that is change in concentration of reactant divided by delta time. बेटा एक बात ध्यान रखना, the rate is never negative. But when you are taking the reactant side, then always the sign is taken as negative. This is also equal to delta product by delta T. Again, class 12, please remember the value of rate. I am writing this separately. Rate of reaction is never negative. Is never negative. पर फिर भी हमने ये रिएक्टेंट के साथ में माइनस साइन क्यों लिया है? क्योंकि रिएक्टेंट की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन डिक्रीज हो रही है. Suppose initially, see what is this delta R? Delta R means R final minus R initial. Now, when you talk in terms of reactant, suppose initially you had taken 10 moles. Suppose R initial is 10 moles और final reaction खत्म होने के बाद जो reactant बचा वो 0 moles था. तो डेल्टा आर की वैल्यू क्या आ जाएगी? -10 आ जाएगी. एंड व्हेन आई पुट द वैल्यू ऑफ -10 इन माय एक्सप्रेशन, ऑटोमेटिकली रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन विल कम आउट टू बी पॉजिटिव, राइट? Automatically the rate of reaction will come out to be positive, meaning I can say that if I plot a graph of concentration versus time, if I plot a graph of concentration versus time, the concentration of product will increase with time, right? जैसे जैसे टाइम बढ़ता जाएगा प्रोडक्ट की अमाउंट भी बढ़ती जाएगी. जैसे जैसे टाइम पीरियड इंक्रीज होता जाएगा the concentration of product will increase. And where will the reactant lie? The reactant's concentration will decrease. जैसे जैसे टाइम बढ़ता जाएगा the concentration of reactant will lower, will decrease. ये जल्दी से नोट कर लीजिए and do let me know if you are unable to understand. I will repeat once again. Right? Average rate of reaction. The rate of reaction which is measured at a considerable amount of time. Longer amount of time. Remember, when you are talking about reactants, please add a negative sign. And there is no negative sign with the product, right? Please ये बात note कर लीजिए. Rate of reaction is never negative. But why do we add a negative sign? To adjust for the concentration of reactant. Then, second, instantaneous rate of reaction. What is the meaning of instantaneous rate of reaction? Again, when the rate of reaction is measured at a particular instance. Instant of time. किसी बहुत छोटे टाइम पीरियड पे मान लीजिए कि मेरा रिएक्शन चल रहा है मान लीजिए कि मेरी रिएक्शन चल रही है और मेरे रिएक्शन में मेरे रिएक्टेंट की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कुछ ऐसे जा रही है, ठीक है। दिस इज द कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, दिस इज द टाइम। सपोज मेरी रिएक्शन चल रही है और रिएक्टेंट की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इज डिक्रीजिंग लाइक दिस एट अ वेरी स्मॉल इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम। इतने स्मॉल इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम पर what will be the rate of reaction, how will the rate of reaction get affected is known as instantaneous rate of reaction। ये कैसे निकाला जाएगा? तो ये निकाला जाएगा कि किसी भी रिएक्शन के लिए सपोज ए से बी कोई रिएक्शन जा रही है, आई विल लिमिट द डेल्टा ए अपॉन डेल्टा टी विद टाइम गोइंग टूवर्ड्स जीरो। देखो हमने क्या करा, इंस्टेंटेनियस रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन मींस वेरी 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 स्मॉल टाइम पीरियड एंड डेल्टा टी मींस सम मेजरेबल टाइम पीरियड। तो हमने जो एवरेज रेट था माइनस ऑफ ए बाय डेल्टा टी, उस पे लिमिट लगा दिया दैट टाइम इज अप्रोचिंग जीरो, दैट मींस टाइम इज रिड्यूसिंग इट्स वैल्यू कॉन्स्टेंटली। दिस विल गिव यू माइनस डी ए अपॉन dt, which is your rate of instantaneous। ये क्या निकल के आया? रेट इंस्टेंटेनियस, मतलब R instantaneous is equal to minus dA by dt और dB by dt, since B over here is my product। प्रोडक्ट के साथ में नेगेटिव नहीं लगाना, सिर्फ रिएक्टेंट के साथ में नेगेटिव लगाना है, ध्यान रखिएगा। minus sign only with the reactant. This is your instantaneous rate of reaction. That means one thing, class 12th, that delta refers to a bigger change। जब भी मुझे केमिस्ट्री में कोई बड़ा चेंज दिखाना है, I will use the term delta, and differential d small d refers to a very small change, very very small change। अगर मुझे कोई बहुत छोटा माइन्यूट चेंज दिखाना है, then I will use the term small d, right? This is your instantaneous rate। Understood? Everybody understood both the terms? Instantaneous rate also and average rate also, right? Aheri, Chikaldhara, understood? Tursindri, noted? बेटा आई होप दी हैंडराइटिंग इज लेजिबल, आई होप हैंडराइटिंग सभी की समझ में आ रही है। ऑल राइट तुर्सन जी। Nichar, where are you today? Good afternoon. Always, otherwise Nichar is the first one to respond. Next, rate in terms of stoichiometric coefficient. Rate in terms of stoichiometric coefficients. तो थोड़ा सा अगर रिएक्शन में स्टोइचियोमेट्रिक कोएफिशिएंट लग जाते हैं तो रेट की वैल्यू थोड़ी सी डिफर कर जाती है। लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड। Suppose I have a reaction, small a moles of A plus B moles of B is getting converted to C moles of C plus D moles of D. All right. Suppose I have a chemical reaction in which the small a Small b, c, and d are all your stoichiometric coefficients, and capital A, B are the reactants, capital C, D are the products. For such a reaction, when I will write the value of rate of reaction, that will be the change in concentration of the species, whether it is a reactant or it's a product, multiply by 1 by the stoichiometric coefficient. Once again, जब मैं ऐसे रिएक्शन के लिए रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन लिखने जाऊंगी तो कुछ नहीं करना, change in concentration of that species by time multiply by 1 by stoichiometric coefficient. तो अगर मैं A के लिए लिख रही हूं, then A is a reactant. reactant के लिए आएगा minus dA by dt multiply by 1 by A. इस माइनस को आप आगे ही लिख लो, minus 1 by A into dA by dt. Similarly for B it will be minus 1 by B dB by dt. What will be for C? 1 by C dC by dt, 1 by D. भाई ये D से कंफ्यूज मत हो जाना. As simple, you will just multiply 1 by the value of stoichiometric coefficient if there is a stoichiometric coefficient present. And what is the stoichiometric coefficient? Please, class 12, these are numbers in a balanced chemical reaction. आप जानते हैं, आप 12th class के बच्चे हैं, आप पहले chemical reaction को balance करेंगे. In a balanced chemical reaction only, the given values are known as stoichiometric coefficients, right? In this also we have certain terms. ये dA by dt क्या है? माइनस का dA by dt क्या है? इसको बोलते हैं rate of disappearance और rate of dissociation of A. खाली इस पार्ट को क्या बोला जाएगा? Not including the stoichiometric coefficient. Only dA by dt will be known as rate of disappearance of A. माइनस dB by dt को क्या बोलोगे? सेम रेट ऑफ डिसअपियरेंस ऑफ B. dC by dt को क्या कहोगे? dC by dt को कहोगे रेट ऑफ अपीयरेंस या रेट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन. वन एंड द सेम थिंग. प्रोडक्ट है ना, प्रोडक्ट या तो फॉर्म होगा या अपीयर होने लगेगा. तो रेट ऑफ अपीयरेंस of C. Similarly for dd by dt, rate of appearance or formation of D. अभी मैं आपको इस पे एक न्यूमेरिकल करवाने वाली हूँ, so please ध्यान से नोट करना. All right, please note them very carefully because we will solve a question. Please note it very carefully because we will solve a question. Rate of reaction क्या है? Rate of reaction is this fraction multiplied by the stoichiometric coefficient. And the fraction alone is your rate of appearance or rate of disappearance, right? Two things. Let's solve a question. All right, तो सिंधी, you are understanding? सब समझ में आ रहा है ना? आइए, सो हिंट क्या है? जो डी ए बाई डी टी है, माइनस ऑफ डी ए बाई डी टी, वो तो है खाली रेट ऑफ डिसअपियरेंस ऑफ ए, है ना, या रेट ऑफ डीकॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ ए। और अगर मैंने इसके साथ में स्टोशियोमेट्रिक कोफिशिएंट मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया, तो ये पूरा क्या हो जाएगा? बेसिकली 1 बाय स्टोशियोमेट्रिक कोफिशिएंट इनटू रेट ऑफ डिसअपियरेंस, ये पूरा क्या हो जाएगा? रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन के बराबर हो जाएगा, है ना? पूरा का पूरा अगर मैंने मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया साथ में, दैट विल गिव अस द रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन। आइए क्वेश्चन देखते हैं एक, उससे थोड़ा ज्यादा क्लियर होगा। You will find such questions in NCERT also for your help. The question is that reaction, chemical reaction दिया हुआ है, N2 plus 3H2 जा रहा है 2 अमोनिया में, ठीक है? अमोनिया का रिएक्शन प्रोसेस दिया हुआ है, अमोनिया का रिएक्शन प्रोसेस बनने का प्रोसेस दिया हुआ है, N2 plus 3H2 is going and forming 2 moles of ammonia. You are given the rate of appearance of ammonia, rate of appearance of ammonia as 2 into 10 to power minus 4 mole liter inverse second inverse. अच्छा, क्लास 12 ध्यान से सुनिए जरा, यूनिट ऑफ रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन और देख लीजिए, यूनिट ऑफ रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन और देख लीजिए। Unit of rate of reaction. So rate of reaction is nothing but change in concentration by change in time. Concentration हम लिखते हैं moles per liter में, concentration is measured in molarity terms, moles per liter, और नीचे time inverse. Time can be in seconds or time can be in minutes, anything. Right? Now coming back to the question, you are given the rate of appearance of ammonia. Calculate rate of disappearance. Calculate the rate of disappearance of N2 and H2. Also, then calculate rate of reaction. Quickly, I'm giving 2 minutes. Why, ma'am? Sir, come again. I don't understand. Vivo से जिन्होंने connect किया है. Please come again. I couldn't understand. Beta, you are given the rate of appearance of ammonia. You have to find out the disappearance of N2, H2 as well as rate of reaction. पहले आप N2 का निकाल के मुझे आंसर लिख दीजिए जल्दी से. Quickly find out the value of N2 and then let me know the answer quickly. Let's see. आइए मैं करवाती हूँ. So the rate of reaction will be equal to, let's make the statement for this, minus dN2 by dt minus 1 by 3 dH2 by dt and is equal to one by 2 dNH3 by dt, right? In this class 12, these fractions are your rate of appearances or disappearances. आपको क्या दिया हुआ है? यू आर गिवन दिस इज द रेट ऑफ अपीयरेंस ऑफ अमोनिया. दिस इज द रेट ऑफ अपीयरेंस ऑफ अमोनिया. Right? So find out the rate of disappearance of N2. What will be the rate of disappearance of N2 then? Very simple. Rate of disappearance of N2, half of dNH3 by dt. Half of dNH3 by dt. Meaning half of 2 into 10 to power minus 4. 10 to power minus 4. Add the unit, that is moles per liter, second inverse. हाँ तोरसिंद्री, वेरी गुड. तोरसिंद्री H2 बता दो जल्दी से. Where is Nichar today? Chikalthara, your turn to answer. And EMR is Kheri per soda. I want answers from you also. हाँ निचार H2 का बता दो. Very good. Tोरसिंद्री, very good. Excellent. H2 का क्या होगा? Rate of disappearance of H2, 3. This frame, you have to find out this. This will be equal to 3 by 2 of d ammonia by dt. So 3 by 2 into 10 to power minus 4. Absolutely correct. निचार ये क्या है? -0.6. निचार ये बेटा क्या है? किसका रेट है? थोड़ी सी गड़बड़ है निचार आपके आंसर में. एंड फाइनली रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन को आप कहीं से भी निकाल लीजिए. हाफ ऑफ DNH3 से निकाल लीजिए. बेटा डोंट फॉरगेट द यूनिट. हाँ निचार अब सही आया आपका. डोंट फॉरगेट द यूनिट. एक क्वेश्चन और लिखिए बेटा. वन मोर क्वेश्चन. फॉर अ केमिकल रिएक्शन, रिएक्शन दिया हुआ है हमें. 2A is getting converted to B plus C. ठीक है. रेट ऑफ, नो concentration, sorry, not rate. Concentration of B is found to increase by, is found to increase by 5 into 10 to power minus 3 moles per liter in 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, find rate of reaction and rate of disappearance of A. Rate of reaction and rate of disappearance of A. Quickly, let's see who solves this first. आइए देखते हैं सबसे पहले कौन सॉल्व कर रहा है. Abhi, answer, class 12th. You have to find out the rate of reaction. Very good, Torsindri. Excellent. क्या है बेटा, ये rate of reaction है या rate of disappearance है? और पक्का सही है, गड़बड़ तो नहीं है इसमें? मुझे गड़बड़ लग रही है because Torsindri, this answer might be incorrect. No, no, this is not the rate of reaction. Nichar, Chikaldhara, what are your answers? अच्छा, if I give you a hint, class 12, देखो, rate of reaction half of d minus dA by dt, right? dB by dt, dC by dt. Now, what is the change in concentration of B? Rate of appearance of B. Change in concentration of B by time. Change in concentration क्या है? It has increased from nothing to 5. It has increased from nothing to 5, or the change is 5 basically. So 5 into 10 to power minus 3 upon time 10 seconds, that will be 5 into 10 to power minus 4. अब बताओ आंसर डिसअपियरेंस का. अच्छा, डिसअपियरेंस का है या रेट का है बेटा? देखो once again, rate of appearance of B क्या आएगा? Change in concentration of B by time. Change in concentration of B is 5 into 10 to power minus 3 by whatever time you are having. The time change is happening in 10 seconds. Meaning B बन रहा है इस रेट के हिसाब से. अगर B इस रेट के हिसाब से बन रहा है तो यही क्या है? रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन भी है ना? So you can say that for the reaction 2A going in B plus C, rate of reaction is dV by dt, 5 into 10 to power minus 4 moles per liter second inverse. Then rate of disappearance of A. Rate of disappearance of A, that will be 2 into dB by dt. Minus 4, sorry. 10 into minus 10 to power minus 3 moles per liter सेकेंड इनवर्स. कैसे भी लिख लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. एक आंसर ये है, एक आंसर ये है. ये समझे कि नहीं? निचार वेरी गुड. निचार बिल्कुल सही, यही आंसर है. निचार एक्सीलेंट, absolutely correct. Let's see one more question now that you are able to understand and solve. So I am giving you the rate expression. Okay, I am giving you the expression of rate of reaction. You tell me what is the chemical reaction. Understood? तो सिंद्री बेटा ये नोट हो गया है. अहेरी, चिकलधरा, खैरी परसोड़ा, हैव यू नोटेड? I will give you the expression for rate of reaction. You will tell me what will be the chemical reaction. Understood? ठीक है सर, ठीक है तो सिंद्री लो. रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन क्या दिया हुआ है? प्लस हाफ dC by dt minus 1/4 dA by dt minus dB by dt plus 1/3 dd by dt. Find the chemical reaction. Please tell me what shall be the chemical reaction. Jaldi say, it should take 1 minute only. You will identify which one will be the reactant and which one will be the product based on the sign, right? You can easily identify which one will be the reactant and which one will be the product based on the sign of your rate. Very good, Nichar. Excellent. बिल्कुल सही. देखो बेटा, नेगेटिव साइन एंड नेगेटिव साइन, बोथ ऑफ दीज आर योर रिएक्टेंट्स. रिएक्शन हो जाएगी. और ये क्या है? स्टोइचोमेट्रिक कोएफिशिएंट. तो यू हैव 4a plus b getting converted to 2c plus 3d. 2c plus 3d. Very good. Nichar and Tosindri both. Beta, I need answers from all the kids who are connected. Please be more participative and let's start the next topic after this. All right. Moving on. Rate law. What is the meaning of the term rate law? What is the meaning of the term rate law? First of all, rate law एक completely experimental quantity है. I will first explain in Hindi and then I will explain once again in English. Rate law बिल्कुल experimental quantity है. और rate law क्या है? It tells, ये बताती है dependence of rate of the reaction on the change of concentrations of your reactants. Again, rate law is a purely experimentally calculated experimental value which tells the relation between rate of reaction, which tells the relation between rate of reaction and concentration of reactants. सिर्फ फर्क क्या है? Suppose I have a chemical reaction. A plus B is getting converted to products. ठीक है? Suppose I have a chemical reaction. A plus B is getting converted to products. The rate of this reaction will be proportional to the concentration of reactants raised to power x and y. Raised to power x and y. What is this x and what is this y? This x and y are the dependence of rate on concentration. कितना गुना चेंज होने पर, रिएक्टेंट के कितना गुना चेंज होने पर रिएक्शन कितनी गुनी चेंज होगी. How many times will the rate get affected on changing the concentration of reactants are x and y. Dependence of rate on A and B. And most importantly, x and y are also calculated experimentally. They are also purely experimental values. They are purely experimental values. अब इसमें proportionality sign को जब remove करूंगी, I will have rate is equal to k times a into x, b into y. What is this k? K is nothing but rate constant. K is nothing but rate constant. Right? K is nothing but rate constant. Very importantly, K depends on only two things: presence of temperature and catalyst. Rate only depends on two things: temperature and catalyst. Rate does not depend on the concentration of reactants. Rate does not depend on X or Y, nothing. It only depends on two things. One is temperature and the other is catalyst. जल्दी से note कर लीजिए and let me know that you have understood. All right, फटाफट से quickly note this down and tell me. EMRS चिखलदरा बेटा आपके समझ में आ रहा है? You are able to understand? I hope there is no language problem. All right, Nachar. Again, बिल्कुल तोरसन, don't worry at all. देखो, once again, rate law क्या होता है? Rate law is finally that mathematical expression which relates your rate of reaction. देखो, rate of reaction with the change in concentration. Rate law is finally that mathematical pure expression which finally correctly, accurately relates rate of the reaction to the change in concentration. Now, this rate is a completely experimental value. It is calculated experimentally. How much on changing the reaction? Suppose I have a reaction, A plus B is going into product. If I suddenly double the concentration of my reactant, or if I half the concentration of my reactant, then by what number, by what factor will the rate also get affected is determined by rate law. Why is the rate getting affected? Because we can see that rate is directly proportional to only one thing, very important thing, and that is change in the concentration. Of course, rate is dependent on the change in concentration of product also. But to find a more accurate value, according to law of mass action, इससे आप 11th क्लास में मिल चुके हो एक बार. लॉ ऑफ मास एक्शन, इसने क्या बताया कि जो कांस्टेंट है या जो रेट है या जो एक्सटेंट है रिएक्शन का, वो एक्चुअल में किस पर डिपेंड कर रहा है? वो डिपेंड कर रहा है रिएक्टेंट की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन के चेंजेस पर. बट दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल बिकॉज sometimes some reactants they are taken in excess quantity. If a reactant is taken in excess quantity, obviously it will not affect the rate in such a way or in a way that some other species is affecting. By for example, I have a chemical reaction in which A plus water is getting converted to product. Now, most of the time, water that we take is taken in excess quantity, meaning if the quantity is excess, then the change in concentration of water will not affect the rate as much as changing the concentration of A might. That means in a simple chemical reaction also, the rate of reaction is dependent on different reactants by a different factor. It can be more directly dependent on A and less on B. ये बात मैं आपको आगे बताऊंगी अभी. On changing the concentration of A, the rate of the reaction can change in a different factor compared to that with the change in concentration of B. That is why we have already taken X and Y as the stoichiometric, as the calculated values that how much, suppose what is the meaning of X and Y? ये भी देखो. What is the meaning of x? Suppose x is 2. ठीक है? For a chemical reaction which is A going to product, I can write the rate expression proportional to A की power x, and I am saying the value of x is 2. Meaning, if I double the concentration of A, if A is made 2A, then how will the rate change? The rate will become proportional to 2A ka power x, and x is 2. So rate will be proportional to 2A ki power 2. This can be written as rate, new rate. This is new rate is proportional to 2 की power square 4. मैं 4 को बाहर कर देती हूँ. 4 into a की power 2, and this a की power 2 is nothing but old rate first. So new rate comes out to be 4 times old rate, initial rate. तो ये मुझे क्या बताया? इससे मैं क्या समझी इस एग्जांपल से? That x can have a direct effect on how by what factor the rate is changing on changing the concentration. You have just doubled the concentration. आपने खाली concentration को क्या करा? Double करा. But on doubling the concentration, the rate changed 4 times, not 2 times. That means on change, this x is another experimentally calculated value which tells us the dependence of rate on the concentrations, right? अभी हमने क्या लिखा है यहाँ पर? Rate is proportional to a and b की power x and y. Proportionality sign हटाने के बाद rate is equal to k times a की power x, b की power y. K is nothing but your rate constant. This rate constant is dependent on two factors. One is temperature and the other is presence of catalyst, right? One is temperature and the other is presence of catalyst. What are these x and what are the y? They are dependence of rate on A and B. They are also experimentally calculated values. जल्दी से ये note कर लीजिए. I hope it was clear this time. I hope class 12th I am not going too fast. I hope I am not going too fast, because if I am, please don't hesitate to ask me to slow down. All right, class 12th, I have this habit of speaking a little fast. मैं थोड़ा जल्दी बोलती हूँ. तो अगर आपको ना समझ में आए या आपको लगे कि मैम ने बहुत जल्दी बोल दिया, प्लीज जस्ट ड्रॉप अ मैसेज इन द चैट टू एक्सप्लेन वंस अगेन. ठीक है? डोंट वरी, डोंट हेजिटेट एट ऑल. आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है सर. ठीक है तो संजय, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ये आपको एग्जाम्पल समझाने के लिए था. This is an example of what does the change of x do to your rate of reaction. आइए आगे देखते हैं. Let's see what is. All right. What is the order of, what is the meaning of order of reaction? All right, let's see what is the meaning of order of reaction. Again, order of reaction is another experimentally calculated value. वो जो हमने पीछे x और y नहीं लिखा था, हमने लिखा था कि सपोज a प्लस b जा रहा है प्रोडक्ट्स में, इस रिएक्शन का रेट एक्सप्रेशन विल बी k इंटू a की पावर x, b की पावर y. This x and y is nothing but x plus y is nothing but overall order of reaction. Overall order. So order of reaction is nothing but sum of powers of concentrations in rate law. X and y are nothing but sum of powers of the concentration terms in the rate law. Again, order of reaction is an experimental value. Experimental value, not a theoretical value, right? Order of a reaction is an experimental term, not theoretical term. Then what will be x and what will be y? X will be known as order with respect to order with respect to x. Y will be known as order with respect to, oh sorry, A. And y will be order with respect to B, right? खाली इंडिविजुअल रिस्पेक्ट्स में एक्स और वाई कहा जाएगा. इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिएक्शन you will use the term sum of the order of reaction. Very simple. Very simple. Then this order value can be, देखो इसके बारे में पहली बात, इसके बारे में दूसरी बात, और देखो इसके बारे में तीसरी बात. ऑर्डर ऑफ द रिएक्शन को हम किससे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं? इट इज रिप्रेजेंटेड विद द सिंबल n. ऑल राइट, ऑर्डर ऑफ द रिएक्शन को हम किससे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं? विद द सिंबल n. नाउ दिस n can be 0, it can have a 0, it can be equal to 0, it can have a positive value, obviously it can have a negative value as well. और सिर्फ नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव नहीं, it can have a fractional value also. It can have fractional value also. So order of the reaction can be 0, can be positive, negative, as well as fractional. How? I will show you examples. Don't worry. I will discuss, I will show you examples, and then you can see how they are changing. So in general, I can say that for any chemical reaction, अभी ये बताती हूँ, आप नोट कर लीजिए. Unit of rate कांस्टेंट। रेट कांस्टेंट क्या था भाई? रेट कांस्टेंट था के, यूनिट ऑफ रेट कांस्टेंट, रेट कांस्टेंट था के। नाउ सपोज यू हैव एनी केमिकल रिएक्शन, A is getting converted to products. If I have to write the value of rate, that will be K into A की power N, where what is the meaning of N? N is the order of reaction, right? N is the order of reaction with respect to, you can say reaction also, or you can say with respect to A also, because there is only one reactant. Order of the reaction. Now, if I have to find out the unit of rate constant, so first of all, the unit of rate constant will vary from reaction to reaction, because the unit of rate constant is dependent on order of the reaction, right? So therefore, unit of K, that is rate constant, will be how much? Rate अपॉन A की पावर n. रेट है आपका मोल्स पर लीटर सेकेंड इनवर्स में, अपॉन कॉन्सेंट्रेशन अगेन इन मोल्स पर लीटर की पावर n. मोल्स पर लीटर की पावर n. This will give you an overall unit that K is equal to moles per liter in 1 minus n टाइम इनवर्स. बेटा यहाँ सेकेंड हटा देना, टाइम कर देना, क्योंकि टाइम आपको किसी भी वैल्यू में दिया हो सकता है, सेकंड में, मिनट्स में, आवर्स में. द रिएक्शन कैन टेक एज लॉन्ग एज इट वांट्स. टाइम इनवर्स, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. K is moles per liter की power 1 minus n time inverse. Now n can have different values, and depending on the values of n, K can have different units, right? Depending on the values of n, K can have different units. But this is when you have a non-gaseous reaction. If you have a gaseous reaction, for gaseous species, K will be ATM की power 1 minus n time inverse. अगर आपके रिएक्शन में गैसियस स्पीशीज दिए हुए हैं, then you will write the rate as ATM की power 1 minus n time inverse. This n is the overall order of reaction. Even if you have multiple reactants, even if you have multiple species in the reaction, n refers to the overall order of your reaction, and this will be the unit of rate constant. Please note this down quickly. All right, class 12th, we have discussed, let's see what we have discussed in today's class. Quickly, let's recapitulate. We have discussed what is the meaning of chemical kinetics and why are we studying chemical kinetics? Because to analyze a chemical reaction, there have to be two main parameters, thermodynamic parameter and chemical kinetic parameter. Then chemical kinetics is measured in terms of the rate of reaction, and rate of reaction is of two types, either it is average or it is instantaneous. फिर हमने पढ़ा एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन किसके बराबर है? जब आप एक लॉन्गर टाइम पीरियड के लिए रेट को मेजर कर रहे हैं, which is represented by the sign delta. Then we have studied what is the meaning of instantaneous rate, which is at a very small particular instant of time, particular concentration of reactant. इसका symbol है D से, because D refers to the smallest change, Very, very small change. Afterwards, we have studied the rate in terms of stoichiometric coefficient. That is, if your reaction has some number of coefficients, then how will you add the rate of your reaction? We have seen a couple of examples, after which we have also seen the meaning of rate law, which is nothing but an experimentally calculated mathematical expression which relates the rate to the concentration. And we have seen rate constant and order of your reaction. Order of reaction, very important. This order of reaction we will now build up in the next class. How order can be zero, positive, negative, or fractional. What are the different orders of reaction and what are the examples? We will be building upon this from the next class onwards. Please revise till here. Please solve whatever questions you can find in NCERT on rate of reaction. All right, class 12, let's disconnect and meet in the next section, in the next class with the same chapter. Bye-bye, class 12. All those who've noted, they can exit. Class 12, we will be picking up from order of reaction in the next lecture. You can revise till here, you can study till here and practice questions in NCERT. All those who've noted, they can exit. Bye-bye and keep studying class 12. Thank you, Nichar. Thank you so much. Chikaldhara, have you understood? EMR is Chikaldhara.